Monday, November 17th, 2025, 7:30 PM in council chambers. Tony, please call the roll.
Yeager.
Yes.
Erickson. Bevins.
Here.
Chesak.
Yes.
Johnson.
Here.
Stunek. O'Day.
Here,
Badil.
Here.
please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to number 4, we are looking for approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
By Chesak, second by Bevins. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. We have an agenda. Next, we have the consent calendar. This is a notice to public that all matters listed are considered routine by the council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless good cause is shown prior to the time the council votes on the motion to be adopted by roll call.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chesak.
I'd like to approve the consent calendar with the removal of the task manager for discussion after approval of the remaining items.
All right, task manager
That's in the reports.
in the reports. Okay, where would you like to put that?
Right, it goes right after our
Right after-
approval of this.
Okay.
Yep.
Put that as 5.1. All right, looking for
Second that.
Motion by Chesak, second by Johnson. Any discussion? Tony?
Yeager.
Yes.
Bevins.
Yes.
Chesak.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
O'Day.
Yes. That motion carries. Next, we have the item of the task manager. Mr. Chesak?
Yeah, you may remember that one of the reasons we asked for this is so that if things maybe look like they're falling through the cracks, and this is what we talked about when we approved this, to talk about it under consent, or, pull it off. So I just wondered, there's a couple of items that we voted on, directed staff, and it had to do with the contacting Crow Wing County for the bus. And the other item that I haven't seen on there yet is the question to Baxter if they would consider their fare structure. And that went along the night that we voted to have the transit, or the issue of the transit business plan come back. And I believe that, that could also, that I don't believe is mentioned in there either. So I just wanted to see what the status of those will be and if it can get included, or maybe one or the other.
Okay. Mr. Broyles?
I think I can talk to that, Councilman Chesak. I have set up a meeting. I'd have to look at my calendar. I don't know when exactly it is, but it's within the next week or 10 days with both Crow Wing County and Baxter to talk about transit, but I have not updated in the suspense tracker, so I will do that.
Okay, that's all I was looking for, so.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Chesak?
Yes, do we have to vote on this, being that?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
I would move to approve the
Second.
suspense tracker. Yep.
Motion by Chesak, second by Bevins. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign.
I think you have to do a roll call. This is part of the consent.
Okay, let's do a roll call. Tony?
Yeager.
Yep.
Bevins.
Yes.
Chesak.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
O'Day.
Yes, motion carries. Next up, we have number 6. This is the public forum. This is time allocated for citizens to bring matters not on the agenda to the attention of the council. Time limits may be imposed. Looks like we have a half-full house tonight, but might be here for something else that's already on the agenda. So if you are here for something that's on the agenda later in the meeting, just hold off for now. If you want to talk to the council or address something that is not on the council tonight, though, now is your time. So feel free to come up to the microphone. If you're online, press *3. That will raise your hand, and then we know you want to speak. I ask again, if you're here to address the council on something not on the agenda, please do so now. Just ask that you give us your name and address before you start.
Wall Daniel J., 423 Southeast 17th Street.
Welcome.
I don't believe is on the agenda. Part of it is, I guess. My concern is a discount was offered to us in June of '23 by the City Council as far as the fees assessed in street repairs because they had moved traffic off of Oak Street and were sending semis down our street, et cetera. And now here we're coming up on a bunch of street work and they're going to assess a bunch of money to us. And I want to remind the City Council that they had offered that some sort of discount.
I do remember the discussion.
Okay.
I don't know, I don't have a perfect answer for you right now. I think this has more to do with that item at the end of the meeting.
I
I get
wasn't
where
sure.
you're coming from.
So,
But there are cards left by the city engineer right on that podium if you want to take one of those. He is more than willing to answer those questions about that tomorrow, and that'll come up to us again later.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else that would like to come up and address the council? Anyone online?
Mr. President,
Mr. Chesak?
if you understood what the gentleman was talking about, I really am, I remember the street project and the detour. But I'm not sure. Can you explain it to us so I understand exactly where he was, what is your,
Yeah, there was, some of the residents on, I believe it was
Norwood.
Norwood Street
Yep.
took issue with the detour coming
I remember
through.
that,
There was a
yeah.
lot of truck traffic that was making its way through and, might have caused extra damage. We had spoken about.
oh, and we
giving
have that,
discounts
okay, and we have that project on our list of streets to do next year? Is that what he's talking?
There is work coming up on Norwood Street.
That's, okay, now I understand.
Okay.
That's all I need, thank you. Sure. Okay.
I'll ask one more time if there's anybody that would like to address the council for public forum. All right, we will close the public forum at 7:36. Next up, we have number 7. This is presentations. It doesn't look like we have any presentations, do we? None listed?
I'll give one.
So we'll move right on to number 8. Council committee reports. First up, we have Safety and Public Works Committee. And tonight's chairman, Kevin Yeager.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. All right, we have 3 items on our agenda here tonight for Safety and Public Works. The first item, we decided in committee to take no action on. This is an item for the approval, change order number 3 for the Wright and 10th reconstruction project. Mr. Dean, perhaps you could just kind of give us the rundown here on what this is, and then we'll follow up with any questions.
Jesse, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the change order request is for time and equipment when city staff and the contractor encountered some potentially contaminated materials on the Wright Street project. By rule, we need to essentially cordon off that material until it can be tested and determined for sure one way or the other. It did come out negative for the testing, so we were able to reuse the soils on site, but it was extra work that we did direct the contractor to perform in this manner. So the change order is compensation for the hours of labor and equipment to perform that extra work. We did luck out that it was a negative test, so we didn't have to go through much more substantial work to haul that material out. But we do have to compensate the contractor for the extra work that we had them directed to do.
Thank you, Mr. Dean. Mr. Yeager, anything else?
Mr. Chesak.
Mr. Chesak, go ahead.
Yeah, I asked that this be brought to the full council for a couple of reasons. What Mr. Dean just explained is that the staff directed the contractor to isolate that, which I think is highly appropriate. That's in the field, you gotta do stuff, I get that. That's perfectly understandable. And then once they make a determination of what needs to be done, there's an additional cost, which is, I think, nobody would disagree with, I don't. And then they're asking us to approve that cost. And this is on the Wright Street project. And what I'm going with this is that when I read our information, there is part of this project that was suspended until next year. As I brought up, I believe it was on October 6th, there was a decision made outside of this council. And yet, Mr. President, you indicated that our decisions are made here at this table, and that was never done for that portion of the project. And at the same meeting, our city attorney indicated that when you have a change in timing of a contract, which this is, it's a contract we approved, and the work was initiated, and they fell behind, and so because of that, the portion of the contract, the 10th Street project, was suspended. And that is a change that our attorney said needs to be approved by the city council. Yet my vote on that was forfeited somehow. And at the time, I was thinking that, I asked the question that there could be implications if we actually, quote unquote, officially change the scope of that project to start that portion next year. And the indication was, yes, there could be a jeopardy to us as a city. So I was gonna make a motion that night, but refused to. because of the potential jeopardy. But we're sitting here, and in our suspense tracker, as Mr. Broyles calls it, it says that that's been suspended, that portion, till next year. So I'm still not understanding the process. I heard Mr. Johnson say that there was some sort of emergency. However, the direction, quote unquote, was given somewhere along the line when the council leadership met on 2 different occasions prior to September 15th, but on September 2nd, and then once after that, prior to September 15th, where we met, no information was given to us. After that, we had another meeting, I believe it was on the 29th, 2 weeks after. No information was given to us about that portion of the project being delayed. And then again on October 6th, 3 days after the potential completion date, as Mayor Baudot indicated, that was something that we should have known about. So I'm asking tonight, why do we need my vote? Why is my vote needed on this? To approve it?
Okay.
Because it wasn't needed before when we changed the scope of the project. And yet, I would very likely support this, but I'm trying to make a point here. There was something that happened on Friday, which we all should be aware of. A similar thing took place. We are acting as the people's representatives. This is the city's business. It's supposed to be done in this room in public view, and it was not then, and it wasn't on Friday. And I'm not happy about it, as you can see. And so I don't know how to change this, but it seems that dynamic carried over until the Rotarian project, the solar project. I don't know what the status of that is. I hope we get an update. But again, I'm in full support of paying this, but I just don't like the process. And because this is Wright Street, and it's the same contractor, it was over there on Beach Street, that 3 council members did not take the recommendation of this Safety and Public Works Committee. The mayor had to break a tie on that to pay for that change order. So I'm a little disappointed that we do our work, and we had 3 council members that didn't agree with our recommendation, which that happens. But again, here we are. Why should we make a recommendation when I don't even know what's going to happen coming out of this committee? I would like to think we'd get the support, but just a couple weeks ago, we did not. Mayor had to break a tie. So I'm just trying to establish a precedent, if I could, or a point, that we have a responsibility to the people we represent, whether it's Ward 2, at large, across the board. The actions we take are here in this room, as you indicated on October 6th, President O'Day, and not via email, not with staff meeting with a few council members, which my very first meeting with Administrator Broyles was, there is no council member that has a priority over any of us, whether you're the council president, a committee chair, so on and so on. We all have equal votes. We should all be treated equally. We should all have the same information. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Very valid point. I think there's no doubt that this has been a complicated road construction season and some unforeseen circumstances have come up. All we can do right now is learn from the process and not repeat those processes that are going to not only offend, but maybe almost go against policy. So we'll definitely pay more attention to those things going forward. There's nothing more that we can do. We can't turn back the clock and do things differently than what we did already this summer, but what we can do is make decisions on things that come up in these meetings. And right now, we have something to vote on. You don't have to vote on it. You can abstain.
President O'Day, I would move to approve the change order for $5,300 and change.
Second.
Motion by Chesak, second by Yeager. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. That motion carries.
Chair,
Yeah, Mr. Bevins.
can I make a second motion on this issue?
Sure.
I agree with Mr. Chesak, and I think it's actually a separate issue, so I'm glad to hear he made the motion on the change order. But I think maybe the bigger issue is that staff is to direct, my motion would be to direct staff to come back with an explanation as to what was done on some of these road project issues, such as Mr. Chesak has explained quite succinctly. We don't know. It wasn't brought before us. And I'd like to hear what was what changes were made that we didn't have a say in. And I don't need it tonight, but I think it needs to be done in 2 weeks. And I don't know if it can change. Oh, that's my motion.
Sure. We have a motion by Bevins,
I'll second that.
second by Johnson. Any discussion on that?
Mr. Chair, I just think if nothing else, it's got to be a learning curve for staff
Sure.
or whoever made these decisions.
I agree.
That they can't. We just sent a letter out to everybody on our policy for grant writing. Why don't we do the same thing to our staff? If our staff is making decisions without us, it'd be, at the very least, I'd like to know what decisions were made.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will say, I think, at that meeting when we discussed this, I think Mr. Dean went into some detail about the situation that we went through during this process, but nonetheless, if we want to have staff follow this motion, we can have a more detailed report on how this came about in, I think it was September. Is that kind of what you're asking? Is that what this motion?
That's exactly what I'm asking. And maybe if Mr. Dean already has the information, maybe he could just give it to us now. But I'd like to hear it.
Okay. Well, let's vote on the motion first.
Mr. President?
Yeah, Mr. Chesak.
Well, as I indicated, the record that we were provided with said there was a discussion with council leadership on September 2nd. We had a council meeting that day. So I would assume it took place prior to that council meeting. Then there was a follow-up with 2 of the 3 council leadership shortly after that, I think in the same week. But one of the issues I see there was 2 more meetings that month before we ever got to the completion date of October 3rd. And then we met on October 6th, just to refresh our memory. So all of that happening, what I think was completely frustrating to me is when we had 2 full council meetings, one was a special meeting, but we could have put something on there, and we didn't do that. But yet a decision was made. Again, I respect the dickens out of Mr. Erickson, Mr. Johnson, and you, Mr. President O'Day. I do. But to see staff give deference to any one or all 3 of you is completely out of bounds. And so what Mr. Bevins is doing here, I appreciate, because this has to be done. We have to set some ground rules. And so I'm very glad he made the motion.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. That motion carries. Now, we have an option or 2 on that. We can wait until the next meeting, or we can have Mr. Dean tell us now. Would you rather have a report ready next meeting?
I can prep a more thorough report. I can reference some stuff from previous meetings, but I'll get you a report for the next meeting.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Moving on. Mr. Yeager.
Yes, thank you. Our second item is the consideration from High Tech for proposal for City Hall Annex building. The motion coming out of committee was to direct staff to schedule a special meeting or workshop to determine the future of the annex building, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Yeager, second by Chesak. Mr. Yeager?
Yes, thank you. So just a little bit of background here. If you'll remember, we did a facility study some time ago regarding the annex building. In reference to that, Mr. Habegorst has reached out to High Tech to have them provide a proposal to, I guess what I'm going to kind of frame as just kind of keep the building basically alive, kind of up to date. This proposal includes replacing some windows, looking at some electrical, just some very basic type items to kind of keep the annex going over there. It would also get the fire response active, make sure that that's working in congruency with the elevator over there as well. So it's some basic to-do list over there. However, as the dialogue kind of continued, really we're coming back to, well, I think we've all kind of said we just want to know what we're doing with the annex first before we spend any money, before we commit to any project. So that's where the motion came from, and that's how we got to where we are. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Yeager. Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. President. I support the motion. I think that's absolutely the right thing to do. Let's decide what we're going to do before we start putting money into it. But the question is regarding this specific quote for this specific work. If we put it off a month, is this still valid to accept if this is what we decide to do?
30 days. It's valid for 30 days.
It's valid for 30 days. And when are we doing a special meeting? you didn't have a date in the motion?
Within 30 days. I would
Within
say.
30 days?
Can I make a suggestion?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chesak?
We have a budget levy date, is that the 8th or the?
Yes.
December 8th is the public presentation of the budget. yeah.
Could we not incorporate those together? Because usually if we set a clock, I think those things usually go about the same amount of time every year. Just an idea.
Yeah, I have no issue with that. Does anybody else? Mr. Bevins?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I certainly support the motion and support the concept of not putting a dime into that building if we're not going to keep it or use it. I just want to remind the council that I did request the EDA ask the representative from Camp Realty, which has been our representative on that and other city properties for years, to put a number as to what that thing is being offered for. And I was told it's not being offered, so it's not being offered for sale, and there is no number on it. And then I asked again just recently, and I commend Mr. Johnson for asking the representative from Camp Realty, what is the building's value? For the second time I asked. And for the second time, the representative from Camp Realty did not answer. And I really think that's part of the discussion. I mean, if we're gonna put $2 million into it, because it'd be nice to know what it's worth. Is it worth zero? Is it worth negative money? We had an offer on it, but the offer was contingent on some repairs, so what maybe not have been a valid offer. But I really wish staff would get the answer to that question, since it's only taken 6 years to get to the point of not having an answer still, as to what is that thing worth? If we put it up on the market, what can we get for it? Or what can we reasonably expect for it?
Didn't we get an
I agree. I
appraisal?
think getting into that detail, just to start the discussion, would be a good place to start,
I thought so 6 years ago when I first asked the question of the EDA.
right?
And Camp Realty, which I was the one that voted against renewing that contract. I just don't think we're getting our money's worth, but that's a whole nother story.
All right. Anyone else?
Didn't we see an appraisal on that?
That's what I had thought too, but I think it was a closed session appraisal, if I remember right. Don't remember the number, so.
I got a good idea.
I
don't
do
want to
think
say-
that we've had a meeting similar to this before, but I think things have changed. That maybe it was a year ago. I don't remember the date, but this has been something that we've been debating back and forth for quite a while, so. To try and hammer that out in the next workshop would be great.
I make a motion that we have.
We have a motion on the floor
Yep.
Which is to have this on
to
the,
have a workshop.
on that date, on the same day.
Oh,
as the-
no dates yet.
We can set the date after the vote, sure.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Thank you.
Any more discussion on the motion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. Now, setting a date, Tony, does that work for December 8th? Can you put it on there for that? Settled. Everybody okay with that? Looks like it.
I'm sorry, what time?
So would this be a separate workshop and then a council meeting? Is that how we would do it, 2 separate meetings? I would ask the attorney if that's the proper procedure. Yeah, I thought that would be the proper, he's nodding. You'd actually have 2 meetings, Mr. Chair. A
Sure.
workshop on the annex, maybe
We
an hour.
can all have the workshop, and then we can walk out that door, and then we can walk in that door. We can all sit right back down. Yep, all
Or
right,
we change the name badges around a little bit.
sure. Mr. Mayor?
So may I ask one more time, what time? What time should the mayor be in this?
1 hour before the budget meeting.
Usually 6.
Is that what we're thinking?
I think the budget meeting.
The budget meeting is set for 6 o'clock.
Yes, so the question is, so are we doing 5 o'clock? Is that what's happening here?
No, we'll have it at 6:30. It'll be after.
The budget meeting's at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Yep, yes, and the other meeting will be immediately following the budget meeting.
And I'd like to understand why we can't just have it at the same meeting. Somebody got an answer for that. I'm sure they do. Because I know I'm going to disagree with
It's a
the rationale.
technicality. I don't see the difference. But,
See,
Mr. Lango,
okay.
do you want to answer that?
Questions why you can't have it at the same meeting? Why to have a workshop in addition to the meeting? Is that what your question is?
No, my question is, we're going to have a budget meeting It's already been scheduled. Why can't we just incorporate it on the agenda and have that same meeting? Why do we have to have two separate identified meetings?
Well, the truth and taxation hearing can be part of a different meeting.
Can be what?
Part of a different meeting. So it sounds like it could be the same meeting.
On the 8th, I mean, you could put those together if you really wanted to. Truth and taxation with another agenda item. I've had cities do that before,
Mr. President?
but
Yeah, Mr. Chesak.
There are three types of meetings. I've been through this a million times plus one again tonight. There's a regular meeting, a special meeting, and an emergency meeting. The difference is, when you have a special meeting, no matter what else you call it a workshop, call it a retreat, call it a hummingbird around the bird feeder meeting. It is a special meeting. It is limited to what you put on the agenda. There's some premise out there that you cannot vote at a workshop or a retreat, and you can, as long as you call a public meeting. It's given a quorum of elected officials, and you have an agenda, and yada, yada. You can vote. There's no law saying you cannot vote at a special meeting, a workshop, a retreat, or anything like that. So whatever premise is out there, I've gone through this over and over and over in emails and discussion. If we have a meeting on the same night we have our budget meeting, or whatever it is, we can vote and get this off the table if we decide something that night. And that way, we could probably still stay in line with the Gordian process if we needed to, or we come back the following week and do it again because of some outlandish premise that you can't vote at the workshop, which we've done numerous times since I've been on this council. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. I do not care one way or another. It sounds like we're having both those items in the same night. If you want to put them on one piece of paper, great. If you want to put them on two pieces of separate paper, then go ahead and do that. I don't care. Either way, if you guys want to say something about that and set that forth, go ahead. Mr. Mayor.
So 6 PM on December 8th.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Can we move on?
Sounds good.
Mr. Yeager.
Our third item is taking direction or giving direction on active code enforcement at 1209 Rosewood. The motion coming out of committee was to recommend sending a $300 citation every 30 days, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Yeager, second by Chesak. Any discussion? Mr. Yeager?
Just a brief rundown. This is in keeping with how we've been doing other active code enforcement. There's been no communication back from this particular parcel owner regarding damaged roof. I believe there are some pictures if you do want to see them, but that's how we got to where we are.
All right. Thank you. Any more discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign.
Aye.
All right, motion carries 4-1. Mr. Yeager?
End of report.
Thank you. Moving on to 8B. This is Personnel and Finance Committee. Chairman Gabe Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have 4 items on the agenda. I need larger font on my computer. I'm getting old. The first of which is approve promotion of Laura Jewell to billing representative. And the motion is to promote Laura Jewell to billing representative position effective November 4th, 2025. Further, that she be placed on step 6 of the billing representative wage grid. And further, to approve the updated business office support specialist job description as presented, and to authorize staff to complete the hiring process to fill the business office support specialist position, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Bevins. Johnson?
So this, we found an internal promotion to fill the billing representative. That individual's former job title was cashier postal specialist, but they do the same tasks as the billing representative. So we're just combining to have billing representatives. We no longer have postal specialists in that department. They're just all doing the same work.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. Chairman Johnson.
Thank you. Next up is a discussion of the 2026 Parks Proposed Capital. As you saw in the packet, the Park Board has requested some modifications from their request from August. being that we don't have a budget approved, we didn't take any action on this. We've received the recommended changes, and it will be part of our overall budget discussion moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Then the next item is a resolution, adopting a resolution here, Mike, establishing deferred assessment criteria. And the motion is to adopt the proposed resolution as presented.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Bevins. Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is what we requested staff to change. And if you notice under 4C, which is the valuation of the house to receive an assessment, we had the number 173,800 that had been there for 3-4 years. And we asked them to change it to words that would just automatically be adjusted. And I think they knocked it out of the park with the new language that says the assessment median homestead value per Crow Wing County for homesteads within the city of Brainerd. This amount will be updated biannually on the even pay years. I think I think they did a great job, and thanks for staff for getting this done so quickly and accurately.
All right, thank you. Any more discussion? Mr. Chesak?
If it was updated, what would it be instead of 170, whatever thousand? Anybody know?
We didn't talk about that. I don't know if Connie knows.
We did not do that yet because we're gonna use pay year 2026, so they're finalizing those numbers. So next fall, we'll find out the amount before we send out the applications.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to a vote. Tony, call the roll.
Yeager.
Yes.
Bevins.
Yes.
Chesak.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
O'Day.
Yes, that resolution carries. Chairman Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. President. This one here is a levy update. You can read Connie's memo of what's changed since the last time we were updated. We're still above 8%. The motion out of committee is to direct, to direct the council president, P&F chair, city administrator, and finance director to meet the week of November 16th to present options and recommendations to the full council at our first December meeting, and I so move.
December 16th?
We will meet this week.
This week.
And at the next meeting, we will present
Second.
recommendations.
Perfect.
Motion by Johnson, second by Chesak.
Yeah.
All right, more discussion on that, Mr.
Yeah,
Johnson?
this is just, we had talked about, okay, let's get back together with the council president and PNF chair, like the charter outlines for the preliminary budget in September. It doesn't really address it for a meeting in November or December, so we decided we should have full council action to bring that leadership team together, to have a meeting with staff to bring something to the full council, as we had just talked about earlier this meeting on a different issue.
Thank you. Connie, do you have a fully itemized budget that you could export to the council pretty readily? Could you, maybe as a friendly amendment to this motion, I might suggest, could you send that out to the council as soon as possible so that any other council members prior to that meeting could send requests to discuss at that meeting to our city administrator and finance director?
I'd add that friendly amendment. Jeff, you agreeable?
Mr. Chesak?
Are you talking about like a line item budget then? Is that what?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
More detailed budget that you could look through?
Okay.
Similar
And,
to what we sent out with the preliminary levy is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, anything that's been updated since the last time we saw it, that would be great.
And you're looking for us to make suggestions?
Yeah, so we'll try and set that date for the meeting, and if you guys could get questions or comments in before this meeting to our staff, then we can discuss that as part of that meeting too.
And no decisions officially will be made then, right?
And it would be
Fantastic.
options.
It'd be recommendations that would come to the full council on what we discussed and what our options are to get under our levy target.
Being a little facetious, I hope you know.
That's all right, Jeff. We're trying to get it right here.
We're used to it. Anyone else? All right. Let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. And would you like to set a time for that meeting?
It's on your schedule, Mike. You've got appointments and stuff.
Let's make it, just to give everybody a little time. You want to do it this week?
Yeah.
Let's do noon on Thursday.
Noon on Thursday.
Is that fair? Give everybody a few days. All right. It's done. Chairman Johnson, anything else?
End of report.
Thank you, Chairman Johnson. Next, moving on to number 9, this is unfinished business. First, we have a call for applicants, and first up, we have the Honorable Mayor Bedell.
Well. The following boards and commissions have seats available. Charter Commission, 2 terms expiring 2025, 2 terms expiring 2026. Economic Development Authority, 1 term expiring 2028. Park Board, 1 term expiring 2028. Public Utilities Commission, 1 term expiring 2028. Transportation Advisory Committee, 2 terms expiring 2025, 1 term expiring 2026. And also, we will be having a lot of positions opening up here in the next month as we are at the end of the year, so keep an eye on those.
All right, thank you. And as council president, I just have 2 terms open for the Water Tower Committee. Moving on, we have 9B. This is a final reading for proposed ordinance 1579, amending section 110, cannabis, hemp, and related businesses, and section 1000, general provisions, appendix A. And this is Connie Hillman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first reading was held at the November 3rd council meeting, and the only change since that meeting was a change to the heading of the ordinance, acknowledging that the ordinance changes both section 1000 as well as 1110. Since the ordinance includes a table, staff is proposing to adopt a resolution approving a summary publication of the ordinance to help with publication cost. So there are 4 items to consider for tonight. Conduct the final reading of proposed ordinance 1597 and dispense with the actual reading. Conduct the public hearing for the proposed ordinance. Consider the adoption of proposed ordinance 1597, and then consider adopting the attached resolution providing for a summary publication of the ordinance. And with that, I can answer any further questions.
Thank you, Connie. I just want to make it clear, because on the top, we have 1579. On the bottom, we have 1597. So when we make the motion, I want to make sure that's the right one. Is it 1597? I see
Yes.
that more on here. Okay, perfect. All right, first, unless anybody has questions for staff on this one, we're looking for a motion to conduct the final reading of proposed ordinance 1597 and dispense with the actual reading.
So move, Johnson.
Second, Yeager.
Motion by Johnson, second by Yeager. Any discussion? Just a reminder that a vote to dispense with the actual reading of the ordinance must be unanimous. So we will go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we are looking to conduct a public hearing for proposed ordinance 1597. So I will open the public hearing. It is 8:07. If you're here to address the council on ordinance 1597, please come forward. And if you're online, press *3 to raise your hand. Again, I'll ask if you're here to address the council on 1597, come forward. And if you're online, press *3. Look like anybody here for that, so we will close the public hearing at 8:08. Next, we're looking to adopt ordinance 1597.
So move, Johnson.
Second, Yeager.
By Johnson, second by Yeager. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Adoption of an ordinance.
Oh, I looked at Tony, she was looking somewhere else. So
Sorry.
Go ahead, Tony.
Yeager,
Yes.
Bevins,
Yeah.
Chesak,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
O'Day.
Yes. That motion carries. Next, we're looking to adopt the attached resolution approving a summary publication of ordinance 1597.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Bevins. Discussion? Seeing none. Tony, call the roll.
Yeager,
Yes.
Bevins,
Yes.
Chesak,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
O'Day.
Yes, that motion carries. That is it for unfinished business. Moving on to number 10, this is new business. 10A is resolutions adopting policies and plans and approve grant agreement for Small Community Development Program, SCDP grant number CDAP-24-0069-0-FY25. And this one, I believe, is Connie Hillman again. and John Schomer. Whoever wants to start.
I'll start it off. So the city has been awarded a Small Cities Development Program grant in the amount of $600,000 to do streetscape activities along the 210 corridor. Mr. John Schomer and Mr. Eric Charpentier are both here to answer any questions regarding the grant. The recommended action is we need 2 different resolutions approving 2 different policies that are needed for the grant and to authorize signatures on the SCDP grant.
Thank you, Connie. All right. Anybody have questions for staff on this?
May I?
Yeah, Mr. Chesak.
So when we come to, this is primarily just aesthetics, is that correct? Is kind of is that how I understand this grant should be used for the most part?
We have John Schomer coming up.
Mr. Schomer, how are you?
Good, thank you, Mr. Chesak, members of the board. Yes, essentially, the grant can be used for aesthetics. In this case, there's such an extreme cost for just light fixtures. This grant is intended to help offset some of that cost.
And then who will be in charge of determining those specific items based on this?
That was part of the submission process for the grant. When we submitted the grant to DEED, Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development, we had to specify what these grant dollars would be used for, and we determined that they'd be used to help offset the cost of lighting.
It's exclusively to lighting?
The cost of the lighting is so expensive that yes.
I thought there was other things, I'm sorry.
There's other things in the project, but the 600,000 will go towards that to offset the lighting costs because of the cost of the lighting, I believe, is over 1.2 million, if I'm correct.
Man, I just can't figure out why people need so much light.
We have headlights.
Very much, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schomer. Anybody else have questions? Mr. Johnson?
I just have a question on the lighting. Why are we responsible for the light? Are we going like over and above MnDOT standards for decorative lighting?
No, it's just one of the allowable expenses for the grant, and it would be easiest to help administer it if it was all towards one portion of that work. It could be used for other items.
Right, I guess I worded my question wrong. Doesn't MnDOT just put lights on their roads?
Yes.
They did on South Six.
But the city does share in that cost. This helps offset the city's cost of the lighting.
Oh, really? We share part of the cost of lighting a state highway through our town.
Mr. Dean?
Mr. Dean, go ahead.
Part of the cost is because we have a different standard for the commercial corridor lighting. That commercial corridor lighting, they do share in the cost, but some of the cost does come down to the city because it is different than the MnDOT standard.
So our lighting aesthetics are over and above what they would provide, and that's why the cost is.
Correct. And
Okay.
there is cost sharing with that as part of the MnDOT policy, but it does not cover 100%
Okay.
up to a certain point.
Thank you, my question.
Sorry, Mr. Johnson. Any other questions?
Can I follow up with Mr. Dean on that?
Go ahead, Mr. Chesak.
So what is it about our lights that the state says, well, that's above what we do? Can you nutshell that for me? And I mean, what do we do that the state wouldn't just, what are we doing different than what the state would provide?
I'll try and be succinct. So the MnDOT standard is a very simple Cobra headlight fixture. The commercial standard we have is more of a cafe style, black color. It is a little bit more aesthetic compared to the standard MnDOT highway lighting.
We got fancy and cost us more money. Yeah,
We updated our lighting standards, I believe,
Yeah.
4 years ago, 3 years ago, somewhere in there.
but the best for our lights.
Paul, you would remember.
Yeah, I remember hearing Trent say that our fixtures that were selected for commercial lighting were about twice as expensive of what a MnDOT standard light would run to put on the project. So
Thank you.
the lighting standard, similarly to what we see down on the roundabout, the new roundabout, that is the same type of lighting standard that would be on.
Oh, I like those lights.
They look great.
Well, Mr. President, I certainly hope the people that are using those lights really appreciate the extra money we're putting into them. That's important.
That's why it's nice to find grants like this. Thank you, John. Anybody else have questions?
Thank you.
All right. Seeing none, we're looking for a motion to adopt the attached resolutions.
So move.
Second.
One is approving the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan. The other is section 3 plan.
I think they want us to do them separately.
Okay? So,
I'll move the first one.
all right. 1A is the motion by Chesak, second by Bevins. Any discussion? Tony?
Yeager?
Yes.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. Next, we're looking for a motion to adopt the attached resolution on 1B.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Chesak, second by Johnson. More discussion? Seeing none. Tony, call the roll.
Yeager?
Yes.
Bevins?
Yes.
Chesak?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
O'Day?
Yes. Those resolutions carry. Next, we're looking for a motion to authorize signatures on SCDP grant number CDAP 2400690FY25.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Johnson, second Bevins. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Against, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Moving on to 10B. 10B is an annual review of the data practices policy and approval of the changes. This will be Administrator Broyles.
Thank you, Mr. President. The city is required to update its data practices policy annually. City attorney has reviewed the policy and has added language for the data practice law updates and also incorporated the police department's requested changes, which is Exhibit J. Recommended action motion is to approve the updated data practices policy as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Broyles.
Move to approve the updated data practice policy.
Motion by Chesak, looking for a second. Second by Bevins. Any discussion?
Real quick, if I could.
Mr. Chesak.
We have an awesome data practice policy. It's really thorough, and I appreciate all the work that staff has done and our attorney for doing everything, so.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chesak. Anyone else? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to 10C. It's the first reading of proposed ordinance 1598 for snow removal. And I believe this is Mr. Habgorst.
Thank you, Mr. President. The existing downtown snow removal ordinance is very specific to a contractor to complete the snow removal downtown. The attached downtown snow removal ordinance has been reviewed by staff and approved by the city attorney. And the ordinance is flexible now to allow the city council to award downtown snow removal to a very specific contractor and/or to be completed by city staff. Recommending conducting the first reading of proposed ordinance and suspend the actual reading. And with that, we can take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Habgorst. Anybody have questions for staff?
I just want to thank them. It sounds like somebody caught something that may have been overlooked for a while. It looks that way, but.
Thank you. Anyone else? No, we're just looking for a motion to conduct the first reading and
Second.
the actual reading. Motion by Bevins, second by Chesak. Any discussion on the motion? Mr. Johnson?
I'll vote yes, because I don't need anybody to read it to me, but I don't see why the change in this ordinance is necessary. And if it was necessary, we probably should have changed the ordinance before we directed staff to do downtown snow plowing.
Noted. Anyone else? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, same sign. Motion carries. That is it for 10C. Moving on to 10D, we have a public hearing and adoption of a resolution ordering improvement and ordering preparation plans, improvement 25-05, Southeast Brainerd Reconstruction Project. And it looks like the presenter here is City Engineer Jesse Dean.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the council called for a public hearing to be held at this tonight's meeting from the October 20th meeting. So the meeting notice was mailed out to residents on the project as well as published in the paper. At this time, staff is recommending holding the improvement hearing to hear testimony from the folks here in the room, as well as potentially on the online. I have to apologize. The attached resolution was the one ordering the feasibility or accepting the feasibility report. I have the correct version in front of you. I emailed one to Alderman Chesak. If you don't feel comfortable with adopting that resolution at this time, we can bring that to the next meeting as well. But I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out, that the resolution in the packet is the incorrect version.
Okay. Thank you for that correction.
Mr. President,
Yeah, Mr. Chesak.
is there a copy of that in the room?
Yes. You just handed them out.
I mean, for the public?
I can get more copies of that.
I've read mine if somebody wants it.
There's a few copies right up there. We don't have to use that resolution for tonight, but we should probably hold the improvement hearing to hear testimony for or against the said improvements. Ma'am, we'll hold the public hearing here in a second. If you could refrain from speaking until you come up.
They're
I
the
understand,
same
but she's
paper.
been talking quite a bit, so I'm just asking. Thank you. So, it's just one piece of paper, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna open the public hearing. It's 8:20. If you're here to address the council on these projects, please come forward now.
And the purpose of this is doing the project, not the assessments.
Yep. The purpose of this public hearing is your opinion on the project. It's not the assessments. So specifically, if you have opinions on these projects, please come forward and address the council now. Just start with your name and address first, sir.
Brian Dosh, 1711 Norwood.
Thank you. Welcome.
So are they gonna close both the Norwood Street and the alley at the same time?
Well, this is not a question and answer session. This is just for you to give your opinion on the project.
Well, my opinion is that I have a disabled wife
Okay?
that has to get in and out of that property.
When we set up detours, we make sure that every home is accessible. So, if you have questions on the specifics of a detour, there's a card right on that podium right there. And it's the card for the city engineer, and he can answer that question
Okay.
for you anytime.
My other question would be, according to what I'm reading, I've got a 50-foot lot. It's gonna cost me $4,250. And somebody said something about you either gotta get a loan and pay interest on it, or you put it on your taxes. My taxes are due on what, 15th of May? Can I just pay that amount on the 15th of May along with my taxes and be done with it?
For next year, this is a great question for Mr. Dean. He handles all those assessments. Yep, there's a card for him. You can call him anytime tomorrow, or maybe catch him tonight. Anybody else would like to come forward?
Maybe you could just explain the process again, so they understand it would be,
Connie can.
okay.
Connie, go ahead.
So you cannot pay the assessment on this year's taxes because it has not been assessed. That is just your preliminary assessment amount. So once the project's done, then you'll have a chance to have your final assessment. You'll have 30 days to prepay with no interest. Otherwise, it'll go on your taxes for pay year 2027.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank
Connie.
you. If anybody else would like to come forward on this project, please do so. Come on up. Yeah. Just start with your name and address, please.
I'm Kathy Dool, and I live in 1717 Norwood Street. And I know there's a lot of us that have all sorts of concerns, and I have made a couple calls in the past and asked about them. And then I get this letter backing it up to say we were having this meeting tonight and that basically we would have a discussion on it. But I'm seeing we're not getting a discussion. It's either you're gonna vote on it or we have to take it as is.
This is for us to hear your opinion on the project specifically.
What's that?
This is for us to just hear your opinion about the project specifically. So you can
Yeah.
tell us whatever you want about the project.
Well,
In your opinion.
I guess I was concerned too about come spring, if I'm gonna be able to get out of my driveway in the alleyway because they're gonna be doing it. And we go camping up north early spring for opening fishing. I wanna be guaranteed that I can get my camper out and then get out on 18th or 17th, and which roads are they gonna be doing and working on, and are we gonna be able to even get out, you know?
Great. Yeah, I
So-
totally understand your concern.
Yeah.
And again, that is the guy. He will walk you right through those detours and what will be open and what won't be open and the whole process.
Well, there's several different things that we've been wondering as far as sidewalk, and another thing while I'm standing here. I talked to several of the people that were doing surveying and whatnot, and they were very nice about talking to me and some of the other neighbors as they went along. But each one that I talked to gave me different information, which was okay. I gained a lot of insight. But what I was looking at is wondering not only which roads are they gonna do first or all this. One party told me that they weren't even gonna start Norwood Street until late summer, and it has to be done by October 1st. Are they going to, I guess, we were thinking they're gonna be digging down and putting in new water lines and everything for us. And when they did it before, it took up one whole summer, plus into the winter, we had to drive on Class 5, and then it was late spring before they could start it again. And that was, I think, 1994, 1995 when they did it. So, yeah, quite a few things. And also, another person told me that they will take out the trees as necessary, the ones that have to be taken out, but the city would also replace them at their cost. And I'm wondering where that's gonna come into play. You know?
Yeah,
I can answer
all
that.
valid concerns. Mr.
Do
Johnson?
you want to try answering questions?
Well, I was going to say, there's a resolution here that you just grabbed. We haven't passed the resolution to come up with all the detailed plans for the project yet. That will go through the engineer's office and our public works director. So all the concerns that you're speaking of, they're going to be hashed out over this winter before this project starts. So again, the contact for those concerns, and the time is to bring those up is now, before those plans are finalized. So please do grab one of those cards and have a conversation with our city engineer
I
regarding
already talked to him.
that. Okay,
I talked to him for over half an hour.
okay,
A while
Yep.
back, but we're not getting any questions answered to speak of.
yep.
So,
There's a lot of details that have to be hashed out on a big project like this, and they don't all come together right in the beginning. They'll come together little by little through that process. So he will take your concerns into consideration and make sure that as many of them are addressed as possible throughout the whole process.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want to come forward? Anyone online like to address the council on this project? Press star 3. I'll ask one more time if anybody would like to come forward to address the council. Looks like none. So we'll close the public hearing. It is 8:27. And then the next item was just adopting the attached resolution, which we're finding out was not exactly the
Move
copy
to
we were
adopt
looking
the
for.
handed out resolution.
Motion to adopt the resolution that was handed out by Mr. Chesak. Looking for a
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion on that resolution? Seeing none. Tony, call the roll.
Yeager,
Yes.
Bevins,
Aye.
Chesak,
Yes.
Johnson,
Aye.
O'Day.
Yes. That resolution carries. Moving on to 10E. Consideration of the development of Gustafson Park. And presenter listed is Community Development Director James Kramvik. If I could ask those in the audience to please stop the chatter, that would be great. It's a little distracting. And if you don't want to be here for the rest of the discussion, we can give you a minute to clear out. That's fine too.
Kind of reminded me of when we're talking, we got somebody down there always, yeah.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Kramvik, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. President. So Gustafson Park consists of approximately 1.2 acres with an alley bisecting the two existing fields. The park has historically been utilized for some of our youth programming activities, but was not formally used in the last year and was left off of the designated parks list. The Brainerd HRA approached the park board at their May 27th meeting during open forum to discuss the potential development of a residential housing area in Gustafson Park, really as a conversation starter. The park board was receptive at this time, but didn't take any formal action or recommendation towards city council. Through the HRA, the property would be developed through a purchase and development agreement that could dictate the type of development as well as the final sale price of the housing units. The property would need to be conveyed at a future meeting. Option 2, the city could retain the property and subdivide the parcels to sell at market rate through the EDA. Preliminarily, staff looked at this, it'd probably be around 7 parcels. Staff has seen an increase in duplex infill development in the city for market rate rentals, and properties have been sold kind of between $15,000 and $30,000 depending on the size of that parcel. Staff recommends the city council consider the options for residential development of Gustafson Park and provide direction to staff. So again, staff provided 3 options for council. Option 1 is work with the Brainerd HRA. Option 2 would direct city staff to bring a preliminary plan to the park board for a formalized recommendation or receive a quote from a surveying company to replat the property. And then option 3 would be to leave the park as is. I can certainly answer any questions the council may have, and Eric Charpentier is here on behalf of the HRA.
Thank you, Mr. Kramvik. Does anybody have questions? Mr. Bevins?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess if the park board and the HRA are interested in this, I'd certainly be willing to listen. But the first question that popped into my head is, why would we take out a park with all the vacant lots in the city of Brainerd? Burned out buildings and infill, it's stuff that's been open since I've been for decades. Yet we get an occasional call from a citizen, why don't we have more parks? We just happened in southeast Brainerd, in Gabe's area. And it would be, I mean, my first reaction is it would be a shame to take apart a park that's being used when we have all this other vacant land. Is it cheaper? I don't understand. And that, I guess, is really a question more for maybe Mr. Yeager on the HRA or maybe the mayor from the park board. It just seems, imagine, I live right across from Gregory Park. Imagine this in Gregory Park. Sure, it would be nice to have big, shiny, multiplex, cheap cardboard apartments there. But I think the usage of the park is much more valuable as green space. And that, I don't understand that. Maybe I just need more explanation.
I think I can give you an explanation of maybe how this got to this point, because we went through all of our parks when we dedicated our newest park as dedicated parkland. We realized we didn't, in the past, dedicate any of our parks as designated park space or parkland. And when we went through all of our parks, we held off part of Buffalo Hills Park, now Lions Park at Buffalo Hills. We held off Trailside Park, which is almost 120 acres of what was called Trailside Park. And we held off this little chunk that is 2 blocks away from a very highly developed park that is very underutilized. It's 4 backstops and a lot of mowing that does cost our city time and money, where it's not really used at all compared to most of the parks around it. So to maybe answer your question from a financial side, we could put that back onto the tax rolls if homes were built on it, just like there are all around it. There wouldn't have to be giant apartment buildings. I don't think you would have to be able to build a giant apartment building there, but if a developer wanted to come in and build single-family homes or duplexes or propose something like that, it would financially benefit the city as a whole, especially with a giant park about 2 blocks to the north.
May I have a follow-up then on your response? Sure. Wouldn't that make sense to get rid of all of our parks then? Be a lot cheaper.
No, absolutely
Be
not.
a lot cheaper. It would be cheaper.
Yeah,
We wouldn't have to mow them.
I understand what you're saying, but this is not Gregory Park. This is not Memorial Park. This is not Lum Park. This is not Kiwanis Park or Buffalo Hills Park. This is a patch of green in the middle of a neighborhood, 2 blocks from a giant park that is very highly developed.
I get that. You're
All the
referring to
amenities.
Memorial
Park.
Yeah.
Yep.
But if you Google this park, there's page after page after page, tens of pages of kids using this park. I did it today. I thought, well, I don't know Gustafson Park. I think I'll Google it. Just like every other person might do. And it looks like it's used almost every day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, what we do with this is certainly one question, but my question is, boy, it seems like it would be unfortunate to take a park that looks like it's being used every single day. Nothing to do with Memorial Park, nothing to do with Mill. This one looks like it's being used every day, with equally as many empty lots throughout the city, if not 2 and 3 times as many, and we wouldn't have to get rid of a park. That's my only question is, why would we do it if we didn't have to? So, and the money, I guess.
It's maintenance, yeah, maintenance.
But then the argument is, wouldn't that hold true with every park? Maintenance. We have to maintain every park.
Right. Every single park comes with a cost and a benefit. So-
exactly.
And it's the belief of our park board, as far as I've heard, and I think some of our park board members or former park board members would agree that the city of Brainerd has a lot of parks to the point where we almost can't afford how many parks that we have at this point. We keep adding park space, we keep adding park amenities, which is great. I wish we could add 100,000 more amenities every year until we have the best parks and the most amenities of any city in the world. But we have to look at reality too. Mr. Chesak.
Thank you, Mr. President. If I could ask a couple of questions related to the look. This is between 9th and 10th Avenue, I understand, is that correct? And then
Correct.
what's the north-south streets? Is there a,
North-south streets are 9th and 10th Avenue Northeast, and the
East-west streets.
east-west is N Street.
is N and is it north of N or south of N?
It is south of N.
And then what's on the south side of the park then?
A long block of houses on both 9th and 10th.
So those homes abut into this?
Yep.
Is this a level, pretty level there?
Yeah, level green space.
And then are there any amenities, park amenities in that Gustafson Park right
There's
now?
a backstop on each of the 4 corners of the park space.
The
Like
shed.
For ball playing?
There's a shed? I don't see a shed. there.
There's no shed anymore.
Shed's gone.
She gone.
So my thought was kind of similar to Mr. Bevan's, only if you're living in that neighborhood, the park's been there, I think, forever. I mean, I'm only asking for a familiarization because it's been a while, but, so it's kind of a fixture in the neighborhood. It's, and, if we ask the neighbors, what would they say? I think I know what they'd say, and I think Mr. Bevins knows what they'd say if they want to see that developed or not. No, is that how we operate our city, based on what all the neighbors say? Not typically, but sometimes we do. Again, I know, I'm confident that most of the surrounding properties would say, we like our park. And even though it's maybe not is used as much, there aren't as many amenities there, I'd be very hesitant to develop it. 'Cause I think Mr. Bevins made a good point. We have properties that we aren't developing. I think, I'm just gonna go on a limb here and suggest that this is a larger scale. It's more all in one area. Guess what that means for a developer? It's cheaper to build. If you can do 7 in one location as opposed to 1 here and 1 there, it's cheaper to build. Look at Brainerd Oaks. Anyway, I'm hesitant to put this, up for sale, the whole thing, so. Don't say I'd never say no, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Thank you, Mr. Chesak. Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, so the park board's position on this is the same as it is with any park in our system and/or any other property. The park board, by charter, is responsible for whatever the council says they are in charge of. That's boulevards, that's parks, that's any green space, that is by our charter. You guys tell them what to take care of, they're in charge of it. The problem is, you guys can say whatever you want is their responsibility, and then they come back to you and ask for money. And that's what it all comes down to, is what do you want us to take care of? How much do you want us to take care of? How many guys do you want? What do you want us to do? Do you want us to cut the grass, do this? Do you want to have stadiums? What do you want to have? There's only so much money in the budget. There's only so many things we can do. The park board's position on this was essentially this: bring it back and we'll take a look at it. I don't think they were necessarily begging to have this not be a park, but at the same time, they're of the same understanding that they're not in charge of making that decision. You guys make that decision. So if you guys say this isn't a park anymore, it's no longer a park, and they're not in charge of it anymore. If you say it's a park, they're gonna figure out how to cut the grass and keep it nice. As far as I'm aware, there is no movement towards developing this past what it is. The goal is to keep it as a green space. Ideally, as someone that has kids who play t-ball there, I'd like a couple trees for some shade because she's roasty toasty hot on a nice July sunset. But the other discussion that did happen at the park board is that this is situated in a neighborhood that has two regional parks, which are very large. Two of the largest parks that we have in our entire city, Lum Park and Memorial Park. Both of those are parks that they want to see develop or see money spent on and see our dollars used for. And so this park is something that's smaller, akin to Triangle Park next to Gregory. Now, Kelly, I know you would say, don't get rid of Gregory. But at the same time, Triangle Park is a much smaller park that is utilized by a handful of people. And there's the discussion about what do we do with it? And that's from their perspective, what it always has been is you tell them what you want to take care of and they'll figure out a way to take care of it. But then they're going to come back to you and ask for dollars, and you're going to tell them they're not going to get those dollars. Because that's the way it works every single time. You're going to cut their budget again. You're going to tell them they have less money. You're going to tell them you got to take care of more stuff. So just remember that. Every time you decide that you want to keep all this stuff and you want to have all this stuff, that's fine. But every single time that park board brings the budget towards you, you cut it and you ask them to remove stuff from it. So just remember that when we move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I might even suggest that if we were to go forward with this, even though it's not dedicated park space, if it were to be sold to a developer, I think those proceeds should go to our parks. I think it could be used for improvement of other parks in the area. Just a suggestion. Anyone else? Questions? Comments?
Do you want more
Opinions?
soapboxes?
Yeah.
I got a soapbox.
Yeah, jump on your soapbox. Let's hear it.
Yeah. I love that park. I've thrown and caught a lot of touchdowns on those fields.
Yeah.
It's a great park. I think I'm okay exploring the idea of developing it, though. My kids also played t-ball there. It is roasty toasty. There are no trees, no bathroom facilities. There is a Biffy in the summer. But it is right next to Memorial Park. So I think exploring this is a good idea.
Yeah, maybe in the end it doesn't make sense.
Maybe in the end it doesn't make sense, but I think we should explore it. I think we should look at it, but also I don't think we should just get rid of it for the sake of getting rid of it to save a few dollars mowing, because everybody's yelling about budgets and saving money and you cut our budget. You couldn't tell me how much it costs to mow that every year. If you could accumulate that
every single year.
If you could accumulate that data, it'd be very interesting to see how much money we are saving, but we have no idea. We're just saying we're saving money for the sake of sounding like it's a good idea.
I will make that request once again right here in this public meeting. Let the record show that I am asking what it costs to cut 1 yard of grass in the city of Brainerd.
See if you can get the value of the annex while you're working magic.
I'd love to get both.
But the T-ball programs have also moved away to further that point. The additions and the improvements we made at J.C.'s Park, the T-ball programs from YMCA and their soccer program are both on the fields over at J.C.'s Park. So that use of this park is no longer needed. So I support the idea of exploring it, not necessarily let's put them on the market with camp real estate today, but let's look at it.
Let's turn it
Thank
into
you.
an aquatic center.
Anybody else? Is there a motion that anybody would like to try? No?
Yeah, I'll throw one out. I would move to have the park board and the HRA explore future use for this park and return it to the council.
Separately or together?
I put them, well, I don't care. They could do
I
it
think the
either way.
HRA would do something completely different than what the park board would do. So are you
I
asking?
really think the park board is where it should start, but they could use any means available.
Okay. Just remember, this isn't dedicated park space. But it is courtesy to ask them what their suggestion might be. Maybe their suggestion will be that they'd rather not maintain the space. Maybe they would like to bring new amenities into it. Who knows?
Maybe there's 10 other parks that we could make a few bucks on, save
Yeah.
some lawnmower gas.
Right. All right. So that's your motion? Yes?
Second.
Get a second. Motion by Bevins, second by Chesak. Is that clear, Mr. Yeager?
I think Mr. Granvick's going to say the same thing I'm going to say, but not to complicate this, but there is also an option that does not include the HRA, and that is that we do not take this down the path of HRA, and we just decide to sell these lots outright without a HRA aspect to the sale and development of these properties.
I clarified my motion to go to the park board.
Oh, I thought there was an attachment to the HRA. I'm sorry. I misheard
That
you
was the
there.
initial, and then Mr. O'Day questioned it, and I clarified it.
Is that what you were going to say, Mr. Kramvik?
Yeah, I think there's two different options, kind of two different models here. You know, one would be the HRA. They'd be looking more for a conveyance, wouldn't be market rate. If you were to go with the city, you'd be looking at selling more market rate. Certainly the proceeds then would be
Mr.
decided
Chair.
where they'd go to from the city.
Since it was my motion, I think the HRA is the cart before the horse. I think it's first to hear from the park board.
Okay.
I'd like to hear from the park board.
Good clarification.
And then if we decide that it's no longer needed as a park, then the next step.
Yep, I agree.
And the seconder agrees with Mr. Benz.
Mr. Yeager, does that
I
answer?
believe that's already been done. I believe this has already been brought to the park board. I believe the park board has already said that they're open to this. They were open to it when I spoke to the park board with Mr. Charpentier and said, yeah, great, let's explore the options. The park board showed interest in reducing their empire so that they could maintain a higher level of parks in the other parks. That is the impetus for this. I support that basic mindset. If we have the ability to lower the burden on the park board that comes before us every year that is strapped for cash to maintain what we've got, I support this basic mindset in taking something off their plate if we have the ability. And I also support the idea of giving them the money to develop into the other parks. So if there is a sale, I would like to see the money go back to the park board to help the other parks that need roof and shingles and paint and drive around. Memorial Park's not perfect. It still needs work, right? And so this mindset gets us in that direction. So that's why I support that. Yeah, please.
Yeager, are you speaking in favor of the motion, or are you speaking against the motion due to?
I'm still a little unclear on the emotion. I believe that the motion had an aspect that tied it to the HRA and the park board working together on this, but I would not support that motion because I don't see that that's the path.
Can Mr. Bevins restate the motion?
No, I'm going to remove it.
Okay.
I was gonna
Now,
rescind
based on
my
what Mr. Yeager just said, I think it should be removed, but I do have a second motion.
Okay.
I think this should become part of the budget decision then, on December 8th. It's a money thing. You just said it. Mr. Yeager, you just said it. They can't afford these. They don't want it. Great. Then now it's a budget thing. It's a city asset. Should we sell it to the HRA or on eBay? But that's the issue. And I get it. You've explained it to me quite well, Mr. Yeager. I think, Mr. Chair, my motion would be to make this a part of the 2026 budget decision
Okay. Motion
that the
by,
whole council makes.
motion by Bevins. Looking for a second.
I'll second.
Second by Johnson. Discussion on that, Mr. Mayor?
So let it be said that I also love this park. Great part of the city. Love Northeast Brainerd. That's where I'm from. I believe this actually used to be where Garfield School was before it burnt down and then was rebuilt. Imagine that. A lot of history to it. Wow, do people get emotional when you start talking about parks? I don't want to remove any parks. I also don't think that the park board necessarily wants to remove any parks. To re-clarify, you put this in front of them. They said, cool, let's take a look at it and bring some stuff back. I think that's where we should be at with this, and I'm okay with that. As a part of it, of a budget, yeah, absolutely. We should probably know what it costs to run these parks and what we need to do and where we're going to save money and where we're not going to save money. But to put this as the park board is asking to remove this because they don't have the money, the park board was presented this and asked what they would like to do, and they said we would be open to looking at that. The park board did not say, by golly, we must remove this park, because how else are we going to survive? So it's very interesting to me that this has gotten so dramatic, let's say, up here. It's a simple question. Do we want to take a look at this park or do we not? And sadly, the way our charter is written, you guys make that decision. You brought it to them. They did what you asked. Now you're acting like they're somehow doing something they shouldn't have done or are all up in arms. They haven't done any of that. So when you bring it back to them, they're just going to say the same dang thing again.
think that motion was rescinded, so this wouldn't be going back to the parks anymore.
Yeah,
And that's fine, but then how about you just make it a park, because it's also not even a park. You never dedicated it as a park, it's not even a park. So this whole thing is just nonsense. It's just a bunch of government nonsense.
I'm gonna agree with you, because the way that we typically get rid of land is we convey them to the EDA. So if we were going to look into turning this undedicated park space into a developed chunk of property, it would just be a discussion to be had next month at the EDA. And I think that would be the appropriate move, but I'm not the one making the motion. So the motion is to make this part of the budget discussion. Motion by Bevins and second by Johnson.
Mr. President,
Mr. Bevins has his hand up.
sorry.
And certainly it could go to the EDA,
Okay,
but it's the council's decision.
Yep.
Not the park board's. Park board already made their decision.
right. Yep, and that's why we're here discussing. Mr. Chezak?
So we have a budget discussion. I'm just trying to, in my head, how does that play into our budget discussion? We look at the value of this, and then what is that? I mean, do we add that to our potential revenue in our budget? I mean,
It's almost impossible, Mr. Chezak.
that's why I'm asking the
Yep.
question.
Yep, not to interrupt you, but I think it's almost impossible without sending this to the EDA and trying to get an assessment on this property.
Well, based on that, I won't support the motion.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, I support the motion, and I think staff already did the work. The park board already did the work. They did the work. $30,000 a lot, 6 lots, $180,000 they're gonna get next year. So it is part of the budget discussion. We can pull that right out of the levy dollars they're getting because they've replaced it with selling land dollars. It's that simple. We just found 180 grand.
Well, you put it right into the park board budget though, so that's where the budget discussion comes in, maybe a little more in depth. But I'm comfortable moving it into the budget discussion. There's a lot to be discussed on it, whether it goes to the EDA this year or maybe next year, that's fine too. So, any more discussion? Seeing none, let's go to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-2. All right, we will see that again in the very near future. That's it for new business. Moving on. Number 11, we have staff reports. Tony Gage? Jesse Dean?
Nothing to add, sir.
Chief Davis? Oh, he's got something.
Amen.
Yes, thank you. You may recall earlier this year, I came to you requesting authorization for the police department to apply for a Lucas grant. The Lucas was the portable CPR machine, and you were kind enough to grant that authorization, and we were able to receive that grant, and we are now the owners of this Lucas. And you may have noticed in my monthly staff report that we recognized an individual that did a lot of legwork within our department for this Lucas grant, and he was the recipient of last month's Bowie Award. And I just wanted to share with you this award nomination and an immediate result we received from having this Lucas. So I'll read the nomination for Investigator Jay Personius that was nominated by Sergeant Derek Palanche. So on October 1st, Brainerd officers were dispatched to a cardiac arrest involving a female in her 40s. Upon Sergeant Palanche's arrival, the female had no pulse and was not breathing. Palanche, Officer Gleason, Officer Williams, and Deputy Taylor worked together and got a pulse back. The female was airlifted and has survived. This effort is worth a Booyah alone. However, serious credit belongs to Investigator Personius, who wrote the grant for the Lucas, attended the necessary training, and just mere days prior provided training to our entire department on the use of the Lucas. Sergeant Palanche spoke with the medical personnel who reported they believed that the quick deployment of this Lucas by officers was a factor in the victim's survival. Investigator Personius' constant drive to make his partners better at medical response truly saved a life. Booyah, Investigator Personius. So, yeah, just wanted to point out not only his efforts, but the rest of the officers' efforts, and great success story so quickly after receiving this. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, Mr. Personius. Keep up the great work. Max Hennon from CLC, anything to add tonight? All right, moving over to Connie Hillman from Finance. Mike Habigors, Public Works.
We just are starting registration for pond hockey, and we'll be having a new pleasure rink at JC Park this year, and that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. James Kramvik, Community Development.
Thank you, Mr. President. So an update on the next Planning Commission meeting. It'll be a busy next meeting here this coming Wednesday. The items that the Planning Commission will be considering will be the Keepers Development final plat as well as the final PUD, considering 3 IUP short-term rental renewals, a CUP and rezoning for a vet clinic on Oak Street, an RFP for a comp plan update, and then at a future meeting, we're continuing to work on the Shoreland District update, and that's everything I have.
Thank you, Mr. Kramvik. Attorney Langle.
Nothing here, thank you.
Chris Schubert, HR.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier today, I emailed the Minnesota Paid Leave Notice and Acknowledgement Form to the mayor and council. We are required by law to provide this notice and receive the signed acknowledgement forms by December 1st. A copy of that notice is at the dais for you. If you could please sign those and return that today, I would appreciate it. Also, the 2026 health election forms were due last Friday. I'm still waiting on a couple of them, so if I could please get those back. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And our brand-new Public Works, Brainerd Public Utilities, rather, Director, Paul Sandy.
Well, third week on the job. Want to express my sincere thanks to the managers over at BPU. They've welcomed me with open arms over there, gotten me integrated as quickly as possible, and a lot of very exciting projects moving forward, a lot of expensive projects, but they've certainly provided a lot of training, a lot of guidance to me as I coming into the position. Certainly been welcome here at City Hall by all the staff over here, so thanks everyone for entrusting me in this position, and I look forward to serving the utility into the future.
Great to have you back, Paul. Good to see you sitting behind that bench.
He said the I word.
Okay.
Great.
Oh,
We can say that now.
yeah, it's legal.
Can't talk about the
We
annex.
have Administrator Broyles.
I just want to welcome Paul. It's good to have you here, Paul, and you're going to be a great addition to the team, so thanks for joining us. Something that Councilman Chesak was referring to earlier, the solar project at Rotary Park on the pavilion. That development agreement did get in front of their executive board over at Rotary, and I got contacted by one of their executive board members, also an attorney. They had a couple of issues with a couple lines in the development agreement. As I had conversations with Paul Sandy in Public Utilities, basically there was some financial liability in the current development agreement that landed with Rotary. As I talked to the utility, Rotary was uncomfortable with that, and the utility said that that financial responsibility would be on the utility. Basically what that is Rotary is going to contribute a $10,000 one-time capital investment to the project. All maintenance, sustainability, removal, whatever the case going forward would be on the public utility. Public Utilities is on board with that. Staff is going to recommend a couple changes to the development agreement and then re-coordinate that through the Park Board, Public Utilities Commission, and City Council. I think to get the energy credits for that, the project needs to be done by the end of the year, so we should be able to meet all the hurdles and get them up by the end of the year as long as all 3 boards are on board. That's all I have.
Mr. Broyles, you indicated December 1st in the email?
I was told December 1st they need to be up, and then somebody else told me after the fact that it's January 1st. They need to be up by the end of the year, so we have an extra month now.
Oh, okay.
Much better. Thank you, Administrator Broyles, and I believe we skipped over the guy that's usually on the internet, but he's sitting right here. Eric Charpentier, anything to add tonight?
I do not. Into the microphone, please.
Or you have John Schomer here. Anything, John?
No.
All right, excellent. All right, moving on, we have the Honorable, once again, Mayor Bedot.
So I'd like to pitch to you guys something. It's another park. It's the Mayor Bedot official park. I'd like to add it to the next park board agenda, make sure that we get that approved and come forward to you guys. Look, again, with this solar project, it brings up another issue that we have, which is our charter. Our charter is a document that we must follow. It is the governing document. It's a little funky in that we have opportunities for multiple people to have to make decisions at all times. I get a little irritated when we continually pass the buck and then point the finger and then try to make these things more of an issue than they should be. Solar project's a great example, right? Get it in front of everybody, have everybody sign off on it, and then we should be good to go. things happen, we just get it back in front of everybody, everybody signs back off on it, and we're good to go. We don't need to overcomplicate things, we don't need to make things more of an issue than they need to be. And then that way, we can have all this money to create more parks and name them after the mayor. So,
Hard no.
I recommend that. Secondary to that, we have a tree lighting ceremony, December 5th, 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. I was going to say 5:30, so 5 o'clock. I will be there at 5 o'clock. So again, December 5th, tree lighting ceremony, City Hall, 5 o'clock.
Forecast is rain.
Mr. Mayor, moving on to council member reports. Let's start with Mr. Bevins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As if all that we've accomplished this evening isn't enough, Wednesday, 5:30 PM is the library board meeting. I'll be there. We have a new librarian, April Ristow, is here. She was actually here at the last library board meeting, but she'll be running it as our new librarian this Wednesday. So that should be exciting. She's a regional library director, so she handles our library and a couple of others. So welcome aboard. I'm sure she'll be in front of us soon.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bevins. Mr. Chesak?
I appreciate Mr. Broyles' update on that Rotarian solar project, and the public utilities will be meeting next week from tomorrow. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, very happy Thanksgiving coming up here a week from this Thursday. So appreciate everybody's input tonight. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Chesak. Let's go to Chairman Johnson.
Nothing to add.
Excellent. Back to Mr. Yeager.
Yeah, thank you. Just airport ticker update here. We were very happy to have a robust turnout, as I mentioned, of potential candidates for our director that we're looking to hire out there. We had, I believe, a total of 28 total applicants. The subcommittee, which is Commissioner Barrows, as well as Commission Chair Palmer and myself, narrowed that group down. Difficult decision, but we're able to narrow that down to a group of 4 finalists. We interviewed 3 of those today, had a great turnout with the candidates that we had in front of us today. We have our final interview that will be happening on Thursday. It is our intent of the subcommittee to push forward potentially 1 or 2, probably ultimate finalists for the entire airport commission to have a look at their December meeting. So hopefully, if everything goes well, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't, we have some excellent candidates in front of us, but hopefully we will be able to make a decision on a director very early on in December. So be sad to see Mr. Planzer go. He's been just an absolute wonderful asset to us out there the last few months, helping us through the process. And I would also like to extend my appreciation and thanks to him for helping us with what I think is potentially really, really good news, and that is it looks like we're going to be getting our morning flight back in April. So that couldn't have happened without the hard work, diligence of Mr. Planzer and the staff that we have out there, as well as our commission members digging into that. So we expect the announcement of Delta SkyWest as our essential air service shortcoming. We got bumped a little bit because of the government shutdown on that, but we expect that by the end of the month, and then following after that, Delta has committed to bringing back the morning flight. That's super exciting. It's very, very healthy for the airport out there. It's a critical part of our enplanements out there. So that's where we're at with the airport, and invite you all out to come out and see the airplane. Walk anytime. Yeah, please.
Any idea what time that plane will depart in the morning?
6:50-ish, 6:30-ish, somewhere in there. It would be a little fuzzy on that, but it would be our early morning departure, which would allow connections to happen at MSP, which we haven't had for quite some time. So exciting.
Thank you. I did see something on the line somewhere. Maybe it was the dispatch with the plane going up. Looked like a pretty cool project.
Yeah, it's come on out and see it. It's a really, really cool plane.
Somebody made it home?
Well, no, it was, it's a real airplane,
I thought
right?
it said it was a homemade airplane.
Well, so the term experimental aircraft means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but technically, it's never really truly a home-built airplane, but, although those do exist, but, come out and see this one, it's a Longster. These things were flying in the sky and delivering mail to people, and, it's a pretty interesting, piece to look at out there and just see what we were flying around in, a long time ago, so. I don't know that this one, I don't know.
It's off the ground right now.
It's off the ground right now. It's off the ground now, but, yes. Yep. So come out and have a look at it, though. It's very, very cool.
Try. Thank you, Mr. Yeager. I don't have a whole lot to add tonight. I'm just looking forward to getting this budget figured out. So I asked members of the council that are here, members of the council that aren't here, if you're listening, please send in any suggestions that you can spot. Go through those line items as much as you can. If you see something, say something to our staff. We will get through it and come back with hopefully a great recommendation with a very low levy increase, which is something that has always bothered me, that there's always an increase and never a decrease. As I sit in here as part of this small government body, I'm starting to realize why and how difficult that is. But it still bothers me, so we're still gonna try and keep it low. So, with that being said, looking for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Chesak. Second. Second by Bevins. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.